Hey friend, Chris here from Logic Per Rules. Let me ask you, do you find as you work on your projects and as time goes on, things start to get messy and hard to navigate in your sessions? If so, today's video is going to change the way that you organize and structure your projects. Now, the feature I'm going to show you, a lot of users do tend to use, but they tend to use one option or the default option. And in my opinion, it's the less powerful of two options. So instead, if you commit to adopting the second version of this feature, you're going to find that your producing and mixing workflow just going to transform. Let's dig into it. On screen, I currently have 2 tracks, but there seems to be more to these 2 tracks than meets the eye. You see, Logic Pro has this amazing organizational tool called track stacks. And in a nutshell, track stacks allows you to combine multiple tracks and channel strips together into a single collapsible and expandable folder. And there are 2 options for track stacks: folder stack and summing stack. So you can see each one of these track stacks houses the same exact drum performance. At the very top, I have the folder stack track lane, and below that is a summing stack. But there are differences between these 2 track stack types. Let's start out with the folder stack. And I'm going to open the mixer just so we can get a good view of what's going on here. Take a listen to the drums and just focus on this first channel strip, this first track lane, and just try to glean how it might be different from this channel strip down here for the summing stack. Okay, so we don't see meters at all on the channel strip for the folder stack. There's no option to add audio effects. There's no input or output. What I do have is a fader, a mute button, and a solo button. Folder stacks are essentially VCA faders, which for those not familiar, I have a whole video all about VCA faders that you can check out. But in a nutshell, folder stacks are organizational tools with basic level control. That's about it. So right now, the kit has been balanced using the faders within the track stack. However, if I start to adjust the fader of the folder stack, I'm going to adjust the loudness of every track in the stack while maintaining their relative positions. Right, you can see the meters changing based on this folder stack's fader. And this volume offset is post any effects. So if I bring in the overdrive plugin and let the tone get cut off right around 980 hertz on the snare, and let's say I send to a reverb. So I'll just slap on maybe chroma verb, but in a post-pan, post-fader position, watch what happens. Right, we can hear the snare level adjust with the overdrive effect, and because my send to chroma verb is set to post pan, we see the level adjustment offset going into chroma verb. And I notice in a lot of projects I get to see from users that a lot of users are using folder stacks for their projects. And I get it, it's great that you're able to organize with a folder stack, but personally, I never use folder stacks in my projects, ever, because I much prefer the versatility of summing stacks. So this time, let's take a listen to the drums. It's the exact same drum performance, but take a listen and look at how the summing stack channel strip differs from the folder stack channel strip. Summing stacks differ from folder stacks because they're not just purely an organizational tool, but allow you to process your entire instrument group as if they were one instrument. So check it out. I'm going to adjust the fader on the summing stack channel strip here and watch what happens or doesn't happen on the individual tracks. Here you can see that the level meters for the individual tracks, they never change. And that's because fader of the summing stack channel strip does not offset the levels of the individual tracks on an individual track basis. Instead, all of the track's outputs are routed to a single aux, which allows you to process, adjust the level, do anything to this group of instruments as a single instrument. This is why I think summing stacks are so much more powerful than folder stacks when it comes to mixing and producing in your projects. For example, I'm going to apply an EQ to all of the drums in one go. Thanks to the summing stack, I was able to apply this EQ to every single drum element of this drum recording. Next up, I'm going to load an instance of ChromaGlow to apply a little bit of squeeze to the entire drum kit, or to put another way, compress the entire drum kit. And lastly, let's add an exciter. And I'm going to just add frequencies at about 20,000 hertz. Now let's take a listen before and after with this plug-in processing on the entire kit. Keep in mind, just really simple EQ cuts, a tiny bit of compression, and a little bit of saturation or harmonics at the very top end. Additionally, I could send the entire drum kit to my reverb over here on aux 3 with Reverb. So I'm going to change the preset to maybe a drum chamber. Awesome. Thanks to summing stacks, I was able to apply plug-in processing not to one or individual tracks in this track stack, but to the entire track stack as a whole, as a single instrument. Plus, I was able to apply reverb using one send for the entire group. If you're already thinking about organization in your Logic Pro projects using folder stacks, you're on the right track. It's just that summing stacks provide more options and versatility for the same organizational thinking and structure. And with those extra options, this is going to be transformative to your producing and mixing workflow in Logic Pro. So I hope today's video was helpful for you, and I'll check you for more later. Take care.